Well, with that, let's take a look at some of your newspapers this morning. If you want to head out and grab yourself a copy, I've got the City Press in front of me. And the main headline of the City Press is government slams COVID hysteria. Experts warn against unwarranted panic that punishes South African citizens for leading variant detection. It is a big one. We've been talking about it as well throughout the morning, Rofhiwa, regarding just some of the numbers, as well as maybe South Africa suffering the repercussions of transparency, so as it were. But yeah, I don't know. What do you make of it?
I found it very interesting, and I actually liked what you asked Professor Purin, the last question you asked him around the effectiveness of the vaccines.
Yeah.
That worries me a little bit. We're telling people to get vaccinated, but we don't know how these new variants react to it. So I find it a little bit problematic that government is saying there shouldn't be any hysteria created. Government was very lackluster when the pandemic was first identified.
Yeah.
We started our vaccination drive late, and subsequent to that, we shut down the economy numerous times, and now we find ourselves in this situation.
Yeah, you know, if you have to ask me, do you know what I'm struggling with? And I'm going to be very, very transparent with you. I'm struggling with understanding how much are we carrying from what we went through during the local government elections. South Africans are supposed to exercise their constitutional right to vote. Yes, they are supposed to vote. But we know that there was, as a result of the campaigning, people were together, were touching. There was more human interaction. There was more, whether it's in the queue, whether it's through political parties trying to galvanize and convince you to vote for them. A lot of human interaction was done during that time. And the numbers were low at the peak of the human interaction. And now we're finding that we're seeing the significant spikes, 1,000 here, 2,000 here, now it's sitting at 3,000. And we're not getting to the point where we say, can we look at, we're not saying that we made a bad call, but can we look at the local government elections and say, actually, this amount of impact stems from the local government elections, because these elections were held during a pandemic, and how much of a transparent view and perspective are we giving in that regard?
Yeah, but you know what? That would need faith, accountability. And we know where our government stands when it comes to being accountable for the decisions that they make. Instead, we're not going to get an opportunity once again, perhaps, to spend Christmas with family and friends because of that lack of accountability.
Unless we get vaccinated.
Unless we get vaccinated. So, Faith, I've got the Sunday World. We back onto issues around dodgy politicians. Magashule Zwane face new charges. So the blurb here is reading that NPA secures a deal with former Free State Human Settlement head to testify against ANC heavyweights over the multi-million housing scandal. And there was testimony that was given at the Zondo Commission, which will be used as well to back up those charges. Faith, I mean, it's getting a little bit difficult for the Magashules and the Mosebenzi Zwanes to escape facing justice, especially if more officials like the former Free State Human Settlement head is willing to come forward and work with the NPA to bring these guys to book.
Well, if it doesn't rain, it pours. But ultimately, I think that it says something around, number one, the politics of play, but at the same time, the rule of law at play. And I think for this one, it's good that the law can take its course. Because where there was wrongdoing, there needs to be accountability, so that others who are political officials can see that actually by stealing, because this is what it is, let's call it what it is, it's stealing from the South African pocket, it is stealing from government, it's stealing from you and I as a taxpayer for your own personal benefit, has actually got repercussions. So if indeed he should be found innocent, then we know. But if this is an extra charge that's been added, that we need to get to a point where we can actually account for corruption.
That's right.
We cannot have more politicians stealing from this country and nothing gets done about it.
That's right. So, I mean, our executive producer is telling us that we've run out of time, but I could not end off our newspaper discussion without telling you that the wonderful Mam Kize has bagged another accolade on the Sunday World, the front page. She is Dr. Mam Kize now.
I like her.
We'll just have to find out what kind of doctor she is, but I mean,
like her.
Is it money that can buy you everything?
I like her.
I don't know.
I mean, I like, don't you? I mean, the day that Kaizer Chiefs lost, I was just like, I like you.
I like this work. Love your work.
I love your work. Keep going with that Kaizer Chiefs win.
So that's Mam Kize there becoming a doctor. And those are your newspapers this morning. So go out and get yourself the latest copy, hot off the press.